sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive? This one's gonna be a little messy.
Messy good.
Oh yeah, definitely messy good. We're talking sports, music, celebrity relationships, all colliding in a way that, well, you just gotta hear it to believe it.
Sounds intriguing. I'm ready. Lay it on me.
All right, so we've got Serena Williams, her husband, Alexis Ohanian, and we can't forget Drake.
Of course, Drake always seems to find his way into these kind of stories.
Right, and what makes this even juicier is the whole Drake-Kendrick-Lamar feud. You know, Lamar, the guy who headlined the Super Bowl halftime show that Serena appeared in.
Oh yeah, that adds a whole other layer of complexity, especially when you consider that one of Lamar's songs might be a direct diss at Drake.
Okay, so picture this. Super Bowl halftime show. Kendrick Lamar is killing it on stage, performing Not Like Us, that Grammy-winning hit.
I remember that performance.
Yeah.
So much energy.
Yeah, and suddenly, bam, Serena Williams pops up for a surprise dance performance.
Gotta love a good surprise guest appearance. And of course, Ohanian's on social media praising his wife's performance. Seemingly a sweet moment for the couple, but there's that elephant in the room, right?
Exactly, we can't forget about Drake. Serena and Drake have some history, started together back in 2015, and a lot of people think his song Too Good is about their relationship.
Too good. Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, he even confirmed it was about Serena in a conversation with his mother in 2024.
Oh, wow, really? Didn't know that. So what's the connection to the Super Bowl performance?
Well, in that song, Drake sings, "I'm too good to you, I'm way too good to you, you take my love for granted, I just don't understand it." So, already a bit awkward, right? Serena's past with Drake, his beef with Lamar.
Yeah, I see where this is going. Not exactly smooth
On
sailing.
it gets even messier.
Yeah.
Drake releases his song Middle of the Ocean in 2022 and seemingly disses Ohanian directly.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, he did. The lyrics are, "Sidebar Serena, your husband a groupie. He claimed we don't got a problem, but no boo, it is like you coming for sushi."
Wow, okay, shots fired. Do you think it's just playful banter, or is Drake trying to be intentionally provocative?
It's a good question. Those lyrics definitely suggest some disrespect, you know? Almost like he's trying to downplay Ohanian's role in Serena's life.
Yeah, like he's trying to rewrite the narrative of their relationship. Makes you think about those blurry lines between artistic expression and personal boundaries.
It's definitely a gray area, right? Like, is it
Yeah.
fair game to bring someone's spouse into a musical rivalry? Where do we draw the line?
It's a tough one. It's complicated. And Ohanian's response, well, it doesn't exactly help to calm things down.
He goes on social media with an epic clapback, defending himself by saying, "The reason I stay winning is because I'm relentless about being the absolute best at whatever I do, including being the best groupie for my wife and daughter."
Wait, he actually said that?
Yep. And he even posted a photo of himself and their daughter, Olympia, watching Serena play.
Oh, that's pretty clever, actually. Turning the insult into a badge of honor.
I know, right? It's like, yeah, I'm a groupie for my wife. What are you going to do about it? And he even manages to sneak in a little dig at Drake by highlighting, you know, his single status.
Nicely played.
Yeah.
But I gotta wonder, is there real animosity between Drake and Ohanian? Or is it all just for show, for attention?
It's tough to tell. The world of celebrity is a bit of a mystery sometimes.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Drake's never used his music
Yeah.
to address personal conflicts before, right?
Right? So maybe he's using this platform to air his grievances, or maybe it's just a calculated move to grab headlines. Who knows?
And let's not forget, this all went down during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Talk about a public stage for airing personal drama.
Right. The whole world is watching.
It's almost like they're using these huge events as backdrops for their ongoing feud.
Yeah.
Makes you think about how all this personal stuff plays into their public image, you know?
And speaking of feuds, we got to talk about the whole Drake-Kendrick-Lamar rivalry. This adds another layer of crazy to this whole Super Bowl incident.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those two have a long history of throwing shade at each other in their music.
It's not just shade, they straight up call each other out. And remember that song Lamar was performing when Serena made her appearance? Not Like Us.
Wait, you're saying that's connected to Drake somehow?
It is. In Not Like Us, Lamar has this line that's widely seen as a direct attack on Drake.
No way. What did he say?
He basically accuses Drake of being a pedophile.
Whoa, that's a serious allegation. I mean, Lamar's performing this song with that lyric at the Super Bowl, and Serena, who has a history with Drake, is dancing on stage. How did that even happen?
Yeah.
So many questions. And it gets even crazier after the Super Bowl. Buckle up, because this is where things take a legal turn.
Legal turn? Oh man, I'm already hooked. Spill the tea.
Drake sues his record label, Universal Music Group, for defamation over the lyrics in Not Like Us.
Wait, so he sued his own label because of a song by another artist they represent? That's wild.
And here's the kicker. Universal also represents Lamar,
This just keeps getting more and more twisted.
doesn't it? In the lawsuit, Drake's team alleges that Universal knew the allegations were false, but chose corporate greed over the safety and well-being of its artists.
Wow, so they're claiming Universal knew it was all BS, but they pushed the song anyway to make money?
Exactly. They even claim Universal actively promoted the song, basically capitalizing on the controversy.
So what did Universal say about all this?
They denied any wrongdoing, of course, told The Independent the whole thing was illogical, that they'd never try to hurt one of their artists, especially someone like Drake, and they stressed their commitment to his career.
Okay, so we've got this public back and forth between Drake and Ohanian happening during Super Bowl. Then we've got Lamar's song with this explosive accusation. And to top it all off, Drake sues his own label. It's like a powder keg of drama.
And we haven't even gotten to Serena's perspective yet. Imagine being in her shoes. Your husband and your ex are publicly feuding, and it's all happening during your big Super Bowl moment.
It's a lot to unpack, that's for sure. And it really makes you think about the dark side of fame and the pressure of navigating relationships in the public eye.
It's like we're getting this peek behind the curtain of celebrity. And what we see isn't pretty.
Not pretty at all. But before we dive into Serena's side of things, we need to take a closer look at Drake's lawsuit.
Agreed. This case could have a huge impact on the music industry.
I'm dying to know what kind of precedent it might set. This is about to get really interesting.
It's not every day you see an artist suing their own label. Defamation cases in music usually revolve around lyrics that damage someone's reputation.
So how does this case even work? Drake's suing his own label. It doesn't make sense.
He's claiming that Universal, by releasing and promoting Not Like Us, actually contributed to the spread of those harmful allegations, even though they knew they were false.
So they basically made money off a controversy that could hurt Drake's career.
Yeah, that's his argument. It's not just about what the song says, but about how the label handled it.
That's a really interesting angle. Could this change how record labels deal with controversial songs in the future?
Oh, absolutely. They might start being a lot more careful. Think stricter vetting processes, maybe even avoiding songs that could cause legal trouble.
But wouldn't that stifle artistic freedom if labels are too scared of getting sued?
That's the flip side, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, artists should be protected from false accusations, especially from their own label.
That's true. So it's a balancing act.
Exactly. Drake's basically saying that Universal put profits ahead of his well-being. This whole case raises some big questions about the power dynamics between artists and labels. It'll be fascinating to see how it all plays out in court.
This whole situation is a reminder that fame has its downsides. I mean, you can have millions of fans and still be vulnerable to attacks and smear campaigns.
Absolutely. Especially with social media, these things can blow up in an instant and have long-lasting consequences. It shows that even the biggest stars aren't immune to reputational damage.
We've covered the legal battle, the Drake-Lamar rivalry, but what about Serena? She's the one at the center of this whole mess. What do you think was going through her mind during that Super Bowl performance?
I bet it was surreal for her, celebrating this incredible achievement on a global stage, but with this cloud of tension hanging over everything.
It must have been so awkward knowing her husband and her ex were feuding, and that the feud was playing out in the very song they were dancing to.
It's like a real-life soap opera, right? And we can only imagine how she and Ohanian were handling it behind the scenes.
I know, right? Did they talk about it? Try to ignore it? At the end of the day, they're just like us, dealing with relationship stuff. It's just that theirs is playing out on a much bigger stage.
And that's what makes this whole story so captivating. It peels back the layers of celebrity and shows us the real, raw emotions underneath.
Do you think there was added pressure on Serena being a female athlete?
I think that's a valid point. Female athletes are often scrutinized for their personal lives in a way that male athletes aren't.
Maybe she felt like she had to be absolutely perfect, knowing that any mistake could get blown out of proportion because of the drama surrounding her.
It's definitely something to consider. It speaks to this larger issue of how society treats female athletes. There are these unrealistic expectations placed on them.
This whole situation really makes you think about the price of fame. The glamour might seem appealing, but there's a lot that comes with it.
Yeah, the constant lack of privacy, every move you make, every relationship, every argument, it's all analyzed and judged by the public.
So where do we go from here? Drake and Lamar are still at odds. There's a lawsuit hanging over everyone, and Serena's caught in the middle. What happens next?
Hard to say, but I doubt this is the end of the story. Celebrity, music, personal drama, it's a recipe for headlines.
And it's not just gossip. There are real-world consequences. Like, what happens with Drake's lawsuit could have a big impact on the music industry.
Absolutely. This could change how contracts are written, how songs are vetted, even how much responsibility labels take for the stuff they put out there.
Okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back. This isn't just about these individuals. It's about how we handle fame, the power of music, the whole messiness of human relationships.
Yeah, it's like a microcosm of these bigger societal trends. It makes us think about how we consume information, how we judge public figures, how those lines between our private lives and our public lives are becoming blurred.
There's a lot to unpack here. What's the biggest takeaway for you so far?
For me, it's the power of narrative. How one lyric, one social media post, one event can set off this chain reaction that grabs everyone's attention.
It shows how these seemingly isolated things can actually connect to bigger conversations about artistic expression, boundaries, responsibility.
Right. And it makes you think about the stories we create around celebrities and how those stories often miss the complexities of their real lives.
It's a good reminder that they're human, with struggles, with triumphs, with vulnerabilities, just like us. And sometimes those vulnerabilities are on full display for the world to see.
It's a tough reality. But it's also a reminder to approach these situations with more empathy and understanding.
I agree. But there's still one burning question we need to address.
You're talking about Drake and Lamar, right? Is there any chance they'll reconcile? Or is this rivalry just going to keep going?
That's the big question. And to answer it, we need to look back at their history, figure out where it all began. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. How did this whole Drake-Lamar thing even start?
This rivalry's practically legendary in hip-hop. Goes back over a decade to when they were both up and coming.
So it's bigger than just this one song or the Super Bowl?
Way bigger. There have been little digs, hidden disses in their music, sometimes even direct call-outs. It's a mix of competition and, begrudging respect for each other's talent.
Interesting. So it's professional, but is there also a personal element to it?
Hard to say what happens behind the scenes, but there are definitely rumors of personal clashes, ego trips, maybe creative differences, maybe disagreements about who deserves more recognition.
Like they're always trying to outdo each other, both with their music and their status.
Yeah, and that kind of back and forth can create a lot of tension.
But doesn't it get old after a while? When does it stop being about the music and become all about the drama?
Good question. Some people say the rivalry has become part of their image, It fuels their creativity, keeps them in the spotlight.
So the feud itself is a performance, just to keep the fans interested.
Could be. Controversy sells.
Right.
And in hip-hop, where authenticity matters, a good rivalry can boost an artist's image.
There's a fine line, though. When does a playful rivalry turn toxic? In this case, it feels like it's gone beyond just music.
Especially with Drake's lawsuit. That takes things to a whole other level.
So do you think there's any chance of reconciliation?
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, they both reached incredible heights. They're icons. They get each other's talent.
So there's a foundation for respect, maybe even collaboration.
Sure. But there's also a lot of baggage. Hurt feelings, public insults, and now this lawsuit.
It would take a lot for them to move past all that.
A public apology, maybe? Some kind of gesture?
Honestly, I don't see it happening. They're both huge names. Neither one seems willing to back down.
Probably not anytime soon. But hey, you never know. Maybe someday they'll surprise us and bury the hatchet.
We can always hope. But for now, we'll keep watching, see what happens next.
It'll be interesting to see how it all affects their music, their careers, the whole hip-hop scene.
This deep dive has taken us on quite a journey. From a Super Bowl performance to a web of relationships, feuds, and lawsuits. It's been crazy.
It's a good reminder that everyone has a life outside the spotlight. Words have power, and fame isn't always easy.
It also shows how music reflects our culture, our values, even our deepest emotions. And sometimes those messy, complicated stories spark important conversations.
Absolutely. So to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
And remember, the world is full of fascinating stories. Keep digging, keep asking questions, keep diving deep.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're Bobby doll. Show them all what I'm made